Moorlands Radio Sport, in association with Leek Building Society.
Yes, Josh, it was an exciting afternoon today because you almost threw through is the wrong expression, but you came close to losing all 3 points, didn't you?
Yeah, through is a good word on the basis of the number of balls they throw into your box, literally, and we knew that. Obviously, we played them back in October and had a really good win there with a strong away performance. But I've reeled off loads of stats at the players Thursday and today ahead of the game about, they don't lose many games. The games that they have aren't separated by more than one goal. Only 3 times this season has that been the case. You're going to be in for a game against them, and even at 2-0 up at half time, they also start halves very well, which again they did. Both the halves that I felt that they came out of the traps quite well, and obviously scored on the hour, probably after a good spell for them. And again, I think that's testament to where this group is now, that we were able to stem the tide, settle ourselves back down, get back into the game, and manage them well enough to not kind of have our goal being peppered, even though they had some territory for sure, but we also had enough time away from our own goal as well in their period, and then obviously we just had a laugh in there because at the end of the game Ollie had a chance to go and run towards the goal in a 3v1 and opted to run to the corner flag, and obviously in the end they then get a throw in a corner in the next sort of phase of the game. And by hook or by crook, we managed to stop that ball going in. We've earned that little bit of luck. Again, we've had enough bad luck, earlier on in the season. But the performance on the whole, again, was good. It wasn't our best performance, but we still had more than enough to cause them problems. Once we sussed where we felt we could hurt them down their left-hand side in the first half, I thought we caused them no end of problems. Hursty as well, obviously, on the transition moments, similarly. So, yeah, really pleased, obviously, to come away with 3 points against such a tough opponent.
Yeah, it was right at the very end. It was a mad melee, wasn't it, to keep the ball out? We think Tom Curl was actually instrumental in doing that. If he was, then it's good, because we thought he was one of our sort of joint men of the match. He's become a revelation, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been given man of the match from the sponsors today. He's been outstanding. He's played more minutes than any other teenager in the division, across any club. Obviously, I've known him a long time, and I knew that bringing him in the summer was the right thing to do because of how much faith and trust I've got in him. Even though obviously we already had Liam Buckley, and at that time people looked at and gone, "You've got 2 right backs." Curly's obviously played across our back four, or across our defensive line this season. I thought he was outstanding again today and aerially. But for someone who's not that big, he's got one hell of a spring. He doesn't get mounted too often by big, strong forwards who are bigger than him. And he can be really pleased with his contribution.
And the other one we thought maybe sort of joint man of the match, we thought, was Liam Buckley, who we thought he was involved in both the goals, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. It was challenging for aerial balls on both occasions that were obviously coming into Popsy. He's ended up picking up on the loose balls and did really well with the first one. He's got good feet, Bucko, in tight areas, and obviously he's managed to manipulate the ball to win the penalty very intelligently. And then the second one, a little bit more composure to find that pass at the right time. And Hursty's obviously in the goals at this moment in time. He's doing really well. And it's nice that we've got the front lads all contributing on the in that respect with scoring goals. Very pleased again with Popsy's contribution and obviously what he offers us. Real foil, and you can see that opposition teams are just not enjoying playing against him, to the point that they're almost, like I didn't feel it was a yellow card on him, to be honest, when he's contested that aerial ball, but they're desperate to try and get him in trouble because they can see how much of a pain he is to play against. He's been brilliant as well.
Are you employing Liam Buckley slightly differently? He seems to have a lot more freedom to actually go in and be part of the attack. Yeah.
We again I talk a lot about systems, and you can talk formations all day, but we talk a lot about occupying spaces. We want to occupy certain spaces. So today we know that when we've got Alex Hurst in the team, that generally his damage happens when he's in that left channel. So in possession, he was tasked with obviously playing in that area. But on the other side, Bucco's the one who's given that licence to go and be that attacking outlet for us down there. So yeah, he's got the physical quality and technical quality to do it, and he's taken that on that role really well. And obviously he's got Curly then behind him who can deal with any spaces Bucco may leave naturally, because obviously he falls in that position that is his natural position really. I thought I could go through the whole team again. I actually thought whilst we performed better in certain games, I still felt like individually people stood up. You have to stand up against these and be so strong. I'm thinking about Liam wins every header. Julius has done unbelievably aerial. I've already mentioned Curls. Similarly, with the whole back line, done really well with that. Dino as well, when he's obviously been called upon. The two in front of that, I felt were a little deep in the initial stage, but then got pressure to the ball for us. So I can name the whole team again in terms of players that are performing at 7s and 8s, and that's what you need in this league. You need your whole team to perform, and most of the teams perform at 7 and 8 out of 10 every week to get a result. It's relentless. It's so hard.
5 without defeat on the trot now. It's a really good run. How important is Tuesday night to you, this Staffordshire Senior Cup against Portvale? Presumably you'll swap the team around a little bit and so on? Yeah,
for sure. We'll make some changes because the players who haven't played in recent weeks through no fault of their own, who obviously are chomping at the bit, and we have got a squad of players that I can make changes and not weaken the team. Genuinely, I feel so passionate about that. I've got a group of 18 players who are fit and available for selection, including Brendan in that bracket now, who will be back involved on Tuesday as well. Lucas, who obviously at the moment's out on a dual reg to play some football. So we've got a really strong group, and we will make some changes, but we want to do well in the competition. We obviously got to a final last year, and we want to win every single game. Whilst we're in this run of form that we're in, we don't want to trip up. So it's really important that we turn up and try and put on another strong performance, and hopefully we'll have enough. And of course, unfortunately, you got next Saturday free, no match, because the Ilston game was brought forward. How are you going to use that day off? Yeah, well, that was another thing we spoke before the game today. I actually said to the players, I don't think if we win today we'll move too many places in the league, and I believe that's obviously correct. But I said what it will do is we're not playing a league match for 10 days. Some teams will play twice before we next play. So it just helps massively from a psychological point of view in terms of creating that little buffer, knowing that the teams below us now who do play maybe twice have got to go and pick up results in both of their games to obviously then move above us. And obviously what we have done by going on the run that we've gone on has created a real group now from that probably 8th, 9th down all the way to the bottom 4 that obviously is really, really tight. So the run has obviously really transformed the feeling around the place from where we were obviously prior to the Baseford game, which was obviously the first win on this little run. But of course, we've been performing probably, I think, since the Hyde game, even the Bamber game, away from home. I remember speaking with the guys after. I was pleased with the performance. We just didn't score the goals. But I think since Hyde, when we got that first point here on a horrible day, played all those top teams, done so well, we look different now. I think there's a different feel to us. We obviously got to continue it, and that was why after 2 weeks with no game, it was so important today to do what we've done. And one last thing is, of course, your next league game is away at Stockton Town. It's a heck of a trip, isn't it, midweek? Is that okay for you? Are you able to get all your squad together? Yeah. I mean, in terms of if it's okay, we haven't got a choice, have we, in terms of the way it's fallen. But yeah, do you know what? We're in a position where hopefully we'll. I've not had any of the players, and they're aware of the schedule over the next couple of weeks. You mentioned that free Saturday next week. The players will be in to train, and obviously we'll have to adapt that week the following week with a Monday night session to obviously go up there on the Wednesday, which is going to be a mammoth task, to go up there on a Wednesday and put on a show and get points against a team that, are very, very good there, is going to take a huge effort. They've obviously beaten National League teams, and, it's going to be so hard. But yeah, the group are ready to go, and obviously we'll attack that as and when that comes. But obviously it's a little while away yet. We'll focus obviously all our attention on trying to win the game Tuesday night first. Josh, thanks very much for your time. Cheers, Dave. Thank you.
And with that, Rich, we're handing back to you.